So hey guys, so this is an update video on my Surly Moonlander fat bike. So what you're seeing in front of you here is actually a brand new frame and brand new fork. So in the springtime I was lubing my chain on my Moonlander, and I forget the reason, but I ended up looking underneath the bottom of the chainstay, and when I did, I noticed there was actually a perforation right through the frame, and about another centimeter away from it there was a second rusted perforation about to break through the frame. I was like, what the heck? And honestly, what I think probably happened was at some point I hit it on a rock and totally scraped away the paint and scratched the frame, and it just started rusting there after I think 3 seasons, and it perforated through. The frame, initially when I got it, I didn't get the inside coated with Bose shield. So I guess you could kind of say it was my fault in a sense, but NRG, the Canadian distributor for Surly, said they would warranty it, so I got a new frame and fork out of the deal, so I wasn't going to complain about that. Probably because, you know, this is low tech, old tech compared to new modern fat bikes, so they probably had a frame or two laying around there that they knew they weren't going to sell, so they were nice enough to warranty it. So new frame and fork, and basically at that time I'm like, well, if I'm getting a new frame, and what was basically happening was I was going to keep this Moonlander pretty much as it was, which was a 2x10. I had it, and then look into purchasing a new, more modern, up-to-date fat bike. But now, since I essentially got a new frame and fork, I took this time to upgrade this bike. So now this has been upgraded to 1x11 because the prices on 11 speed now have dropped. SRAM has numerous lower price Gruppos. So I think this is the SRAM GX. So in Canada, I mean, you can get this 11-speed cassette for less than $100, and it fits on a regular 10-speed free hub body, and the rear derailleur is a little over $100. I think it was about $133. And then the chainring is a wolf's tooth component. It's a 30 tooth. I had some issues getting this. Basically, I couldn't find one in Canada because of the bolt pattern that the Surly OD crank uses, so I had to order it directly from Wolf's Tooth. So I was without this bike for a while because I had to wait a little while to get the frame and fork, and some of these brand new 11-speed components, welcome to Canada, things trickled in bits and pieces. Like my dealer got the shifter, the derailleur, but I had to source out the cassette on my own, and I had to source out the chainring on my own, unless I wanted to keep waiting for Canadian distributors to get some of the nicer, newer parts. So new frame and fork, new chainring, new cassette, new rear derailleur, new rear shifter. Managed to get rid of the front shifter. It has a new headset because the old headset was totally pretty much destroyed from 3 seasons of winter use. It's still the same stock wheel set that it came with. So the Surly hubs, the Surly clown shoe rims. I've got my Surly Bud and Lou tires on here. These were the original tires that came with the bike, and they still have, unfortunately, lots of life left in them. I'd like to upgrade to some lower rolling resistance, high volume tires like this, something like the Surly Nard, but really there's so much life left in these tires that I can't justify buying new ones right now. So I have these, the stock tires, the Bud and Lou, and then once winter hits I have the 45 North Dillinger 5 studded that should give me another season. So for this winter, basically I try and ride to work 4 or 5 days a week, and in the wintertime that'll be, on weekdays it will be the main riding that I'm going to do. In my opinion, I'm crazy not to take advantage of my commute, especially in the wintertime, because in full-on midwinter conditions, you know, work all day, come home, basically I'll get home around 5:30 and I'll already have done an hour and a half of riding. So that's just too good a situation to pass up. But last winter I started using my Surly Krampus 29 plus, using the 45 North nicotine tires. So they're, I think, 2.35 tires on the rabbit hole rims, and it actually worked really well as a winter bike. It's not as awesome as this in full-on snowy conditions, but for most of the conditions I deal with on my commute to work, it works quite well. It's faster than this bike, and one of the reasons I chose not to use this as much is because the 45 North Dillinger 5 studded tires are so expensive. I want to save those just for truly fun riding. You know, use it in going for night rides into the trails in the evening, and then having fun on weekends. And then I will use this bike occasionally for my winter commute when conditions are totally require a fat bike. And there's always a few days in the wintertime where a fat bike is really the only safe choice. And it actually, not only the safe choice, but it can make the commute actually enjoyable, where the Surly Krampus would be a pain in the ass because it can't handle those snow conditions. So yeah, it looks like I'm going to end up riding this thing for another year. I'm kind of debating what my next bike purchase should be, because I'd like to move into get my first full suspension bike, and I'm really interested in the 27.5 Plus full suspension. I kind of shop at one bike shop here in town, but all of the bike brands that they sell, they don't sell any well-priced 27.5 Plus bikes right now. So I may actually have to buy it from another shop. But I'm kind of debating between going to that first full suspension, but I'm also debating actually just getting a newer, more up-to-date fat bike capable of running 5-inch tires with front suspension. But because, in my opinion, a new fat bike is better value, because it's a 365-day-a-year bike, whereas if I spend a fair bit of money on a full suspension 27.5 Plus, it's really only a three-season bike. But this weekend, since I got this bike back, I went and did a 4-hour day in our main trail system that we have here, and I've talked about that trail system before. I have some videos of me riding in it too, but it's gotten very, very rooty. And it's definitely, at minimum, it's a front suspension area. But in my opinion, it's become a full suspension trail system because of the roots that it has. So I used this bike this weekend, and yeah, it's still enjoyable, but there are sections of roots where I was like, man, I want full suspension in here. So yeah, I'm really kind of in a quandary about my next bike, because a front suspension fat bike will be better value because I can use it 4 seasons. So I'm still gonna debate and decide that, but I've got this bike now set up for an enjoyable winter. Gearing wise, so I went with that 30 tooth because I didn't want to lose some of that top end speed, because it's not only going to be used for a trail bike. There will be some gravel road riding, going out and doing some winter rides on some of the gravel roads way out in the country. So I didn't want to totally lose the top end speed on it. But when I rode it this weekend in our main trail system known as Shunya Mines, there's lots of really short, steep, grunty sections where you gotta, you know, put almost 100% effort for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds to get up those grunters. And if I was to basically have the bike set up strictly for that trail system, I would think a 28 tooth would be better. But I managed to ride everything with the 30 tooth, and it wasn't actually horrible. But if I was to go into that trail system on a day where I was tired, even the 30 by 42 on the back, especially with a heavy bike like this with a rolling resistance of, you know, it's basically practically the fattest tires that you can get on the market, smaller chainring would probably be a better choice. But I'll live with the 30 now. My fitness level right now is quite good, so I will be able to manage it. Yeah, so I've been rambling about this fat bike. So there's the update. New frame and fork, because the previous frame started to rust, and I managed to get them to warranty it, and it's been upgraded now to 1x11, so single chainring, 11 speed on the back with a 42 tooth on the back. So I'm set up and ready for a winter of awesome fat biking. Thanks for watching. Bye.